truth. Bring it on.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Do you want the whole truth?
I don't think you're ready.
Governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people.
It's Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth.
Welcome back. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. Happy Friday to you. Jam-packed as always, and I want to go directly to our guest. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, proudly on, say it with me, AFR Talk. Our guest, he is the author of Separated at Birth and Inside Gitmo, among other books. He has written, I think, a total of 4 books. And Colonel Gordon Cucullu, Green Beret, a man who has put the soldiers first his entire life, and honoring him not only with his writing, but what he is doing right now. And, Colonel, let's just start with that. You are involved with a project working with veterans today. What exactly are you doing?
Thank you, Crane. It's
Yes,
good
sir.
to be back on with you. And
Yes,
what my wife and I are doing here in the Ozark Mountains is that we have set up a transition decompression center, if you will, in a very rural homestead-type environment for post-9/11 combat veterans. And we hope to be able to offer them a chance to get their feet on the ground, to decompress, to recreate in a positive way, and to be able to do have a productive learning experience through an incredibly wide variety of homesteading type, self-reliance, and individual responsibility type exercises here on the 200-acre tract that we've got.
And the name of the project?
We're the Valhalla Project, Valhalla, and we have a website and also a Facebook page by that same name. And the name itself derives from Old Norse mythology as the Hall of the Warriors, where the warriors went and were reconstituted and went out to fight again the next day. And that's kind of what we're looking at here. Not that people are going to go out and start a fight, but that it gives them a chance to kind of get grounded, find themselves, get interested in things that may be a future profession for them, or even a great hobby. And we emphasize values that I think are very meaningful to Americans and your listeners, particularly on American Family Radio, and that is self-reliance, independence, individual responsibility, teamwork, caring for others, and for caring for the land and animals at the same time. And as I said, we've got an amazing variety, everything here from off-the-grid construction to intensive gardening to permaculture to, you name it. We've got livestock.
It's great. And this is a way, we oftentimes conclude with that, and we sometimes don't get it in, Colonel, and so I wanted to put it at the beginning because I want people to understand that you have been involved in service to this country and to the people who serve this country. When soldiers were being smeared down in Gitmo, you went down there and you wrote the book on Gitmo, co-authored it, and you take action on these things. You wanted to honor the veterans of the forgotten war, and you did just that with Separated at Birth. So I have to ask you, when we have the current Commander-in-Chief of the United States, President Obama, last Thursday, making this tie-in, drawing this connection, he is with the President of Vietnam, Mr. Tron Tan Song, and he said this. Roll it.
At the conclusion of the meeting, President Singh shared with me a copy of a letter sent by Ho Chi Minh to Harry Truman. And we discussed the fact that Ho Chi Minh was actually inspired by the U.S. Declaration of Independence and Constitution and the words of Thomas Jefferson. Ho Chi Minh talks about his interest in cooperation with the United States. President Sang indicated that even if it's 67 years later, it's good that we're still making progress. Thank you very much for your visit, and I look forward to continued work together.
Colonel, what do you think of that?
That's Ho Chi Minh, all right, our Jeffersonian Democrat. I guess this stuff would be funny if it wasn't so tragic, but I'm surprised, or not surprised, but it would have been more appropriate if the president, also referenced the fact that Ho Chi Minh was extraordinarily influenced by Karl Marx, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, Mao Zedong, and the whole pantheon of communist dictators, because that's exactly how the man operated. And I think this has been a mythology that's been with us, good grief, 60 years now, Crane, where, that these guys were just, peasant revolutionaries, and they're simply out for independence, and really that was it. And it totally ignores the vast purges that Ho made when he took over the northern half of the country in 1954, and the atrocities that were committed subsequent to that, and especially subsequent to the American departure in '75, when
killing fields.
you weren't finding a lot of people being put on those boats who and risking their lives in the high sea against pirates and the elements, because they were living in a Jeffersonian democracy. It was a place of repression, torture, re-education camps. And I think the Vietnamese government today has backed off of that to a great degree, because at heart, most Vietnamese are not good communists. But at the same time, the government is still in place. The mechanisms are still there. They're still persecuting the minorities, the Mountain Yard people, especially in the highlands.
And what does that do, Colonel, in light of just what we've seen? We've seen a passing of a true American hero in Bud Day. We've got about 2 minutes left. Question. When we start rewriting history, or as the president did, make these references without context, and that's being gentle, what does that do to our country? And what does it say about the sacrifice of the likes of Bud Day made for our country?
I think it's, poor Bud, one of the finest officers and men that I've ever known, and who endured a tremendous amount of physical and mental abuse while he was, and torture while he was in the hands of the North Vietnamese for years. It sort of disgraces his memory, that's for sure, and all of the veterans who fought in Vietnam. And but the bigger point, Crane, is that with this casual rewriting of history, we really have and are becoming increasingly a nation of historically ignorant citizens who then go out and push levers, and who think that whose history comes from Hollywood, or in many cases from the government schools, who slant the textbooks, as your listeners are aware, in whatever direction they want, mostly towards secular humanism, multiculturalism, and these other fads of the moment.
Well said, Colonel. Colonel Gordon Cucullu will be a regular feature on this program, Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. We're blessed and honored to have him, and we had done it before for years, and it's just great to reconnect. Colonel?
It sure is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crane.
Take care.
Yeah,
all right.
You too. Look forward to the next time.
Amen. All right. Now, we are going to shift gears only slightly to U.S. Bureau Chief of LifeSite News, Ben Johnson. Some good news when it comes to life. Something you may not have heard about yet, but people who are getting involved in making the case for the unborn. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, proudly on, say it with me now, AFR Talk.